What's going on, beautiful and sexy lovers? This is The Sex Mechanic. I'm here on another episode of The Sex Mechanic Podcast. I am doing it differently today. Usually I'm on YouTube doing it live, but today I'm on IG. So, yeah, welcome. I appreciate y'all for being in here right now. How's everybody's hump day going? How's everybody's week going? Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend as well. I have been traveling my ass off. Last week, I think Friday, I headed over to New York from San Diego. And just today, I flew from New York to Fort Lauderdale. And so now I'm in Florida, hanging out with the fam. And here to enjoy a homeboy of mine's first baby shower for his first child. So I'm excited about that. Shout out to my homeboy Tuck. Hopefully he's out there checking me out. But yeah, how y'all doing? What y'all drinking tonight? What y'all sipping on? Y'all already know I got me a little pandemic beverage right now. Toast and cheers to y'all, whoever's out there checking it out. And we gonna get into it. So I don't know how many of y'all saw the post or the question that I posted today, which was, would you or could you have feelings for somebody who didn't, or you're not sure if they had feelings for you as well? Kool-Aid, okay. Coco Bella said Kool-Aid. I feel you. Trying to keep it light tonight, huh? No shade at all. I got water too, so I'm not only doing, the alcoholic beverage. But yeah, could you see yourself having feelings for somebody who may not share the same feelings for you? And the way that question came about was because I've thought of the different situations where I've been in that spot, you know what I'm saying? Where I've been feeling somebody and they didn't necessarily feel the same way about me. And I'll give you, 3 examples of it. There's 3 examples that really stand out. One of them is back in high school, senior year. I was really into this girl. And I was in a new school and everything. And I was really feeling this chick, right? And for whatever reason, she just wasn't really responding. And I couldn't tell if she was feeling me or not because she just wasn't telling me shit. So it's kind of like, that kind of made it worse. So at a certain point, I just took it as, she wasn't interested. Actually, I didn't take it as she wasn't interested. I basically just came out and was like, hey, what's up? And she told me, to summarize, she said, she's good. I'm saying? She's not interested for whatever reason. I don't know if she gave me a reason. Maybe she did, but I can't remember the reason. After I heard I'm good or whatever she ended up actually saying, I was kind of out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, that's all I heard. That sucked, obviously. And then later on in college, I remember there was a young lady as well. This was one of the 2 times that I thought I was in love with somebody before I actually understood kind of what love was and all that other stuff. And so, in college, freshman year, I remember being into this young lady, but it's not her feelings weren't mutual necessarily. It was more it's almost where it's kind of like somebody likes somebody more than the other person, more like that. And she was also trying to figure some other stuff out at the same time. So, it's all good. It worked out how it was going to work out. But later on, I realized that it was more of an infatuation more than it was an actual, me being in love. And then the 3rd time that I can remember was after college, where I also thought I was in love with this young lady. And basically, as time went on and we got to know each other a little bit, she kind of wasn't interested anymore, or, kind of moved on in a sense. And also another situation that didn't feel great, but learning lessons. Later on, it's interesting because later on I figured out with a lot of them, with all those situations actually that maybe I wasn't necessarily going after the person in particular. It was more like I was in a situation and I was feeling some attributes that the people had, or I was falling for the person because of a persona that I might have thought the person had, as opposed to me actually knowing what these people were all about. And not to say that these people weren't about. Coco Bella said that second one is interesting. I bet it is, huh? Hold on, y'all. Hold on real quick. I gotta turn this fan on real quick because it is warm. Y'all over here getting me hot talking about these situations, Now, what I was gonna say was, in all these situations, these were great young women, wonderful young ladies, but I think that I kind of jumped the gun in terms of the way I thought I felt about them before I really even knew what certain things were. You know what I'm saying? I think I was more intrigued and more interested in being in love, I guess, or being all about somebody than I was focusing on what it was about those people, because I knew those people to some degree, but I didn't get to know them as much as I could have before, feeling like, oh, I want to make this person that person, so that's what that was. And it's not, I'm glad that I had those experiences because it really helped me realize that, for one, it helped me realize later on in life, once I was in my first loving relationship, what love really felt like versus really liking somebody or really being infatuated with somebody. And so that was important, but also the other part that was important too was the fact that those are experiences I could look back and say I learned a lot from, and I grew from as well. So I don't take anything negative from those situations. Well, I don't look at those situations in a negative light. I have good relationships with at least two of those three people. So it's all love. The latest one, I asked that question too because the latest situation was a young lady who I really actually currently I'm feeling her. You know what I'm saying? I like her vibe and everything like that. I'm not totally sure how she feels on her end, and so I'm kind of going back and forth. Should I continue feeling this person even though I don't know how this person feels about me necessarily? And I'm probably going to continue because at the end of the day, I'm doing it because of who the person is and not because I'm trying to get something back from them. I'm not trying to, get them to say, oh, I'm liking you too, or I'm feeling you too, or I want to be with you. It's more of me appreciating the person for who they are. And for that, I don't necessarily see myself stopping that. And also it's a good learning experience for me to really, how do you say, I'm really getting to a place where I'm not needing or requiring anything from somebody else. So even if I am feeling somebody else, I don't need them to reciprocate that, or at least that's what I'm in the process of learning and teaching myself how to do. And I think I've been improving and I've been doing very well up to this point. And so me, stopping my feelings for somebody isn't going to help me progress when it comes to that. Coco Bella also says, because you go hard with your love. This is true. I'm an Aries, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but we are very passionate people, typically. And sometimes I got to learn to dial that passion back a little bit. Not the passion. The passion is good to be on high most of the time, but sometimes I have to discern between what's passion and what's love, you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes early on, at least, those feelings got mixed up for me because I am a very intense and passionate person when it comes to love and whatever else. Like, I go hard with any relationship that I take serious, you know, whether that be a friendship or a romantic situation. So that's kind of just how I operate. But I've learned that I could still go hard, but just not call it that. Oh, I know who it is, Coco. I know it's you. I know exactly who it is. That's why that second one sounded so interesting, huh? Dolly Peasy, what's going on, man? But I'm kind of curious, though, to hear, you know what I'm saying, like what other people have heard, or not heard. What did I say, heard? Welcome. Bam. I always have trouble saying your name. Bambi Zled? Bambi Zled? I don't know. But thank you for joining. I'm waving to y'all in person instead of putting it on the thing. Yeah, that's funny, ain't it, Coco Bella? Yeah, but I'm interested to know, like, if other people have been in situations where they have had feelings for somebody and those feelings were not reciprocated or they weren't shared, and kind of like how did that go for you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you just continue on? Obviously, I think we've all, if not most of us, have been in situations where we've had crushes on people and that other person might not even know you exist. You feel me? Like, let alone have the same feelings for you. So I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of being in that situation or in that space. But I'm kind of curious to know, like, how people have kind of like dealt with that, or if people haven't. Maybe there's people out there that only like who they like. And I hear that that's pretty much how you should operate. Like, you should like who you like, or like who likes you. So Dolly Peasy said, no, I took my feeling back and closed the chapter. Too easy. I respect it, though. I respect it. I mean, I understand why you would do that, because this is the thing, right? This is the risk you take if you decide to continue, you know, like allowing yourself to have feelings for somebody who may not share the same feelings for you. Sometimes it can feel kind of like you're at the mercy of the other person. You know, I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but sometimes it can feel like you're not even in control of your own emotions or your own feelings, you know, all the time. Like, you're basically reacting to some degree to how that person is perceiving you or how they're acting towards you. And that's going to dictate to some degree how you act. I remember the situation in high school in particular. Man, I couldn't even enjoy like trips and shit. Like, we went on a class trip to Orlando, you know, a senior trip. And I remember being just sad most of the trip and being just down because, you know what I'm saying, like, this girl wasn't feeling me, and my feelings were so strong. And I honestly wish I could have just like cut the feelings off at the time, but I didn't know how to at the time, you feel me? So it was kind of like I just had to deal with the feelings, and it ruined my whole trip. Even in my senior class picture, I was looking annoyed to some degree because I just wasn't having the greatest time. Now, obviously, if that's the case, I know to focus on me and have my fun no matter how or who's around. But at the time, you're talking about high school, I had no idea how to do that. And so I was just wallowing in my feelings the whole time when I could have been having a good ass time with people around me, with my folks. So that's the danger of allowing yourself to have feelings for somebody if they may not feel the same way about you. You got to have a lot of control over your own emotions and understand that even though you have feelings for somebody, your main priority is still your happiness and your well-being. And it shouldn't be that other person's responsibility or that other person's job to make you feel some kind of way by, you know, telling you they like you back or by giving you a chance to be with them or anything like that. Like, you basically have to understand, it's just like a loan, right? When you loan somebody some money, and somebody just said this the other day and I totally agree. If you loan somebody some money, you should, to some degree, unless there's a contract written out, not expect to receive that money back. And you should be okay with that. So that means don't give anybody any money that you're not willing to lose, is what it comes down to. Same thing with gambling. Don't bet anything you're not willing to lose. You feel me? So just have it in your mind already that if you're putting that out there, it may not come back. And you just got to be okay with that. So it's the same thing when you have some kind of feelings for somebody, is if you know you can't do that, if you know you can't just give that and not expect anything back, or you are going to need that back in order to feel better, you shouldn't even give it up, honestly, if you can help it. Dolly Peasy says, actually, it's about being mature about your emotions, right? Part of it is being mature about it. You could be mature, but still. So, as a whole, as a society, right, we're taught to depend on your mate or your partner for like emotional stability. Depend on your partner for, to feel secure, to feel good about yourself. All this stuff that we're taught to depend on another person for, and I think that's what it really comes down to. It's not necessarily maturity. It's more about understanding that relationships are not about putting the responsibility on somebody else. It's about sharing an experience with somebody else. If you're choosing to be with somebody, then that means that you're choosing to share your experience, your individual experience, with that other person. Or in the case of other people who have multiple partners, those other people. It shouldn't necessarily be that you're getting into this relationship because you're trying to experience your other half. Like, you should be whole when you come together. And I know people have heard that before, but it's the truth. You really should be whole before joining with somebody else, or at least not expecting that other person to make you whole, because that's a dangerous game you playing. Like, as human beings, we all fall short in terms of being what other people need all the time. Like, I don't know anybody who could be everything another person needs all the time. So you will be disappointed, and you'll probably be disappointed more times than not if you put the responsibility of how you feel on somebody else. That's what I'm saying. So, not so much maturity, but maturity does matter, because you do need to be aware of how you feel and your emotions at all times. Like, even with the person I was just talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was good in terms of like, oh, I could do this and, I'll be all right. But then I felt myself slipping into, feeling a way that I was like not comfortable with feeling. And I had to dial it back, and I had to, kind of like look at the situation again and from another perspective, and basically, step back in order for me to get myself under control. But it all starts with us. It starts with the individual and not the person, not the other person. I wonder why, too. Well, I don't wonder why. I mean, I feel like I know why I had those situations, but welcome to 4Nav for Life and Danielish Kananian or Kanian. I think I said that right. I hope I said it right. Welcome, y'all. But it makes me wonder why we end up in that situation of feeling somebody and knowing that they may not feel the same way. Like, where does that come from? Like I said, to me, it's all about, if I like somebody, I'm liking them because of the person they've shown me to be, not because I'm expecting or wanting them to like me back. So, but I think back in the day when it was happening, I was wanting that reciprocation back. And it wasn't until more recently in my life that I've started to look at relationships differently, in a practical sense, and really started like trying to practice more of what I've been talking about for a long time. but it's a lot harder to do when you're in the situation versus, you know, when you're not in the situation. But it can be done though. It can definitely be done. So, what do y'all think is would y'all say it's better to this is it kind of goes along with this question that people have posed before. Like, do you think it's better to not have ever experienced love, or to experience love, or to have experienced love and lost it? And I say lost meaning, like, you know, you were no longer in that loving situation. Like, what do y'all think? I'm curious. For me, it's easy. Rather have gone through the feeling of what love is like, even if it doesn't continue on, because that's an irreplaceable feeling right there. Y'all gotta forgive me too. These bags, I just flew in just today. This afternoon I got here, so forgive me. But of course, I couldn't let this not happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have my camera, that's why I'm not doing this on YouTube, and I'm doing it here on IG, but I'm happy to be able to do it on a different platform anyway. So yeah, to have loved and lost love, or to never have experienced love, but also meaning never experienced that type of hurt that sometimes comes with the love as well. What is y'all opinion on that? Which would you rather? While y'all think about that, I'm gonna bring up the fact that when it comes to the topic of having feelings for somebody who may not have the same feelings for you, have you also been on the other side of that, where, you know, somebody has had feelings for you and you weren't really feeling them? I know that's happened in life to me as well. It's kind of a strange situation to be in, unless you have a true and real relationship or friendship with that person. If the person just likes you and that's it, for me, it makes me feel a little uncomfortable, because I feel like everything that person does is motivated by the fact that they like me, not motivated by the fact that, you know, that we have, you know, like a solid relationship or a solid foundation. And that makes me feel kind of weird, because how about if I say, you know, I don't know, how about if for whatever reason they don't like me anymore, so now we can't be cool anymore? That means that you were doing all of that just because you felt a certain way about me. And that, I don't know why that rubs me the wrong way, but I'd rather somebody like me as a friend and do stuff for me or do stuff with me as a friend, as opposed to somebody doing things only because they look at me as a potential partner or mate or something like that. Like, I would hope that the person actually is feeling me in multiple ways. Welcome, One Crochet Queen. What's going on? We are talking about having feelings for people, and that might not be reciprocated back, and how I guess how would that go? How would you manage that, pretty much? I had one person earlier, Dolly Peasy, said that if that was the case, yeah, he was like, nah, I'm not gonna continue this. Like, I'm not gonna keep liking somebody who's not liking me. So he said he pulled it away, you know, got himself together and let that situation go. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for saying it's a great topic. I think so too. It's something that a lot of people can relate to, I think. And then I switched it and said, also, have you been on the other side of that, where somebody else has been feeling you, but you weren't really feeling them like that? And how'd you manage that? Like, how'd you manage that relationship? One Crochet Queen says, I feel like that's the new reality now. Okay. All right. That is an interesting take. I like that. Now, with that, is that because of like social media presence and kind of like how that's pretty much how people reach out to each other now when they don't know each other? It's like through social media, and so you kind of it kind of in a sense, or not only social media, but also people are using technology now to actually meet each other, like meet new people. And a lot of that is like based off of, all right, we have to actually, I guess, swipe right. Both have to swipe right in most apps, most platforms. And if not, well, then you end up swiping right a bunch of times and not getting a lot of matches. Like that's happened before a lot, where I know I got at least 20 swipe rights on my end, but somehow I'm not getting any matches. So I'm kind of like, all right, I guess this is one sided. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just, going one way. So that does make it trickier for sure, in my opinion. Is the way that people meet now is just so different, and it's so to me it's inorganic. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the best that we could do right now, based on technology and where it's at. But I still personally prefer, meeting people the old fashioned way, which is like in person, out and about, by happenstance or by chance. Not necessarily by chance, because I don't believe in chance, but seeing somebody out somewhere and going and talking to them at that point in time, as opposed to the electronic thing. It just, to me, it's missing a lot of elements in terms of meeting people. But you think that's a new reality now? Okay, all right. I'm curious why, in your opinion, you would say you feel like it's a new reality. What motivates that response or that statement? Oh, I didn't even do a sound check with y'all either. Y'all can hear me okay, right? Okay, I hope so. If y'all can't hear me, obviously let me know throughout. Uh, if you're just seeing my mouth move but no sound is coming out, that's a problem. So yeah, just let me know. Give me a heads up. All right. You want to join? Of course you can. Absolutely. All right, so Queen is going to join us, y'all.
What's up?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. So what was the question you had? Because I wasn't gonna do all that typing.
I got you. I was saying, what motivated that statement that you made about that's the new reality. Why do you feel like that's the new reality?
Um, it kind of go hand in hand on what you were saying about, meeting people the old fashioned way. I feel
Hmm.
like there's so much like in and outs, especially with like social media, special like all them different ways to meet people now, where it's like, what's the next thing happening? What's the next thing coming?
Hmm.
So it's more like the microwave effect versus putting something in the oven and actually watching it bake and doing its thing, or seasoning up some food and let it marinate versus just throwing it on a pot and just hoping that it tastes good.
I totally agree with you then. Yeah, I'm
So
with you.
so when it comes down to actually really like having feelings, I don't think people have feelings. They don't develop the feelings. They just make it sound like they do have them, so they could do what they need to do, and then nothing really happens.
Oh, now you see, that's another part that I didn't even touch on. Is like, um, there's like, to me there's a difference between like liking somebody, you know what I'm saying, which you could like somebody very quickly and easily, you know what I'm saying, like after just meeting them the first time and just seeing a few like features that they have, and kind of like the person, if they decent, then you like, all right, I like this person.
Yeah.
Versus like having feelings for them is more like you getting to know them. You maybe, hung out several times and really gotten to know this person in different situations and different kind
Correct.
of like needs. And you're right, it doesn't happen that easily now, especially with like, chatting back and forth. Hey, what's going on, real pretty red? Um, but yeah, it doesn't happen as easily now because yeah, it's kind of like this quick. Let's chat back and forth. If there's a pause or anything in that moment,
Yeah.
the conversation is pretty much lost and the momentum is gone usually.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And you know.
Wait, I feel like the way people are meeting people too is like how you were saying, like on social media. So true story, I went to a baby shower and it was this guy watching me. I'm like, okay, he decent, you know. So I asked the girl that was having the baby, I'm like, who is this? She's like, oh, that's baby daddy cousin, you know, I'm gonna put you down. I was like, okay, no problem. But I was like, don't go to him to tell him that he could get my number because like I'm kind of like old fashioned in a sense. So instead of the guy coming to me asking me for my number, he then, because she had posted me on her stories, he then went in my DM and tried to holler at me that way.
Even though y'all was in the same place.
Yeah. So he DM'd me that way. And then it was just so awkward because it was just like, you know, because when you're texting and messaging, it's so like you could take it out of context. You don't know what tone the person's typing to you. You don't know anything. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. I even had to ask my sister, I'm like, what should I even message this person back? Because it was so weird. So boom. I was like, all right, I don't do the whole like behind social media thing. So I'm gonna give you my number and I'm gonna block you because I don't need you to vicariously see what I'm doing on there. So you don't have to call me because he's like, oh, I see where you at. It's the vibe. I'm always at the vibes. So at the end of the day, are you gonna call me? So a couple days went by, he's texting now. He left from DM to the phone, texting. So I'm like, bro, you got people? It's like, you in a relationship? No. Okay, so most people pick up the phone and have a conversation. And I said, I don't know if asking you to have an actual conversation is too hard, but to each his own, and I'm good. So I feel like a lot of the conversation and dialogue is gone. It's like a dinosaur now. People don't know how to they don't know how to have a conversation now. And I feel like if you have a conversation, we really don't got nothing to talk about.
Agreed. Because what are y'all gonna talk about when y'all in person? If y'all can't talk on the phone. You know? So that I totally agree with that. And it's weird how somebody would be literally in the same space, the same physical space, right? And prefer or feel more comfortable, I guess, going online and saying, let me DM this person. And I don't know what they said, but whatever. Either way, it's kind of like, as opposed to actually coming up to somebody. And that to me is like, that's my
having a conversation, never picking up the phone. And was like, okay, like we can hang out when I'm free or whatever. But I'm like, I don't like to hang out with people that I never even had no rapport with because it's just awkward.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of strange. You know what I'm saying? It's a little weird.
But it's a little strange now, and I just don't get it because I want to know if we're gonna be able to even stand each other because personalities can clash. There's different things that you might be into, I might not. You might be having people, you know, popping out of a bush or something. I need to know these things.
It's so true. So true. And the crazy part about that too is like, you don't even know how a person's gonna be in a public setting before you're like, oh yeah, let's go and meet. Like this person they might not be well. You feel me? And so and like you said, they could have, you know what I'm saying, like people, you know, all around and like, you know what I'm saying, being followed or stalked, who knows? So it's definitely nice to have at least one phone conversation before we even, you know, or if maybe y'all met in person and it's like, all right, we exchange numbers then I can understand, let's meet up and get to know each other more. That's a different story. But
different. Now the gag is if I guess whenever you get a chance you could go on my stories. So I do questions every Thursday, but I couldn't wait till Thursday. I had to do it today. Where a guy that approached me last week and he was like, hey, I just want to give you head. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, that was the first thing you said?
The first. I mean, I had to tone him down. So he was like, hey, let me give you some Becky and let me send you on your way. And I was like, no, let's scale it back a little bit. Give me a little drink. You know, you can get the number. You kind of cute. And then we'll circle back sometime later. Long story short, I ghosted him because I was like, no, it was just like a little too straight to the point. So then this morning, hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
So then this morning, I get a good morning, beautiful. I was like, okay, we getting where we got to go to, okay. And I was like, okay, now that the person is starting off right, because sometimes you got to set people back on track, on the right path. And then it went left again, and they took the same approach. and it was kind of like a little explicit, and got straight to the point, like, hey, I'm gonna give you this cash and let's see what we could do. And I was like, whoa, whoa. So come to find out, I had showed my sister because you know us girls talk. I showed my sister the person's information, and she was like, oh, that's the same approach that they did when they tried to holler at her too. So
Okay. Damn.
predator. She was like, that predator is using the same approach. But I'm like, who's falling for that? So he put like money all spread out. He's like counting money, and I'm like, you gotta give me a break. Like, who's really gonna sit down and like fall for that?
Yeah.
So I
Not
said,
only that.
if you don't go somewhere with that little community, you ain't got no community kids, so don't be worried about me or some shit. So I was like, oh my goodness, like who's really gonna do that nowadays in 2022?
My thing is that might be a generational thing, maybe. Maybe I'm of a different generation, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm 37, and so I remember um having to walk up. Let me tell you, I've walked up to a lot of women like since I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, in school. I walked up to a lot of like girls in school. I did the old fashioned way and like learn how to, talk, you know what I'm saying? Like learn how to not necessarily converse, but learn how to get to know somebody at least on the most basic level. Name, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you go to this school type of thing? Like, like simple shit. But my whole point is like to jump, and I think I talked about this on another episode, like to jump straight into like the sexual stuff. It's not like I understand if you see somebody who's attractive, I get it. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It makes sense that that's happening in your mind. I get it. But there's got to be more, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what you can discuss versus just jumping right into that. Like,
Exactly.
like hopefully I have a conversation first before they,
No, that was
hey,
a conversation. They didn't want no conversation. They just wanted to get straight to it. They got the coins. They're ready to spend it. They're ready to pay a bill. And I'm like, how about instead of showing me dollar bills, I mean, not dollar bill, $100 bills, why don't you show me like your recent labs? Like what your labs look like? Did
mm,
they say like you good or all this?
mhm,
Because, but it worked for somebody, must be, if he's still trying to do it. So somebody felt
exactly.
they needed,
Somebody can,
they laid on
some,
the back, and I'm not really sure, what that was. Some women come off like that. You got money, let's fuck. Oh,
all right. Well, hey, cooking with the king says flossing just to get the girl. That's little boy's mentality.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't disagree with you. That's why I said it might be a generational thing because yeah. Mm.
So I told him, I said, you must have a chicken nugget or a shrimp or something. You can't like get it on your own. So you over here just trying to like pay for it so somebody can let you like stick that little shrimp somewhere.
Yeah,
And then the pick. And I'm like, bitch, I didn't I just blocked him. So I had to just block him.
probably wasn't a bad idea. We also
And I
had
got
another
called a different number that I didn't know, and I just made one of my kids pick, yeah. So I blocked
hey,
him, and he called me from a different, so, yeah.
Dromatic 305 said, "Believe it, there is a lot of folks like that." Okay, I did. I mean, I, I've heard about it. You know what I'm saying, but it's strange to hear a story like a real story about it.
Real story, real life. Block, and then getting calls from different numbers. And I'm like, you gotta get a life or something. Like, and he was a decent dude. Like you say, he was an interior decorator. No, interior designer. Like, designing like kitchens and shit. And I'm like, okay, you got a decent head on your shoulders, but somewhere in there, something's not working correctly.
And
So
sometimes people just don't know how to interact with with people they like. That's another part too. Like a lot of people don't learn how to just have basic conversations with with the woman or with the man, depending on who you're into or what you like.
but
Um,
who they are at the first like 5 seconds, they kind of tell you real quick. First little couple
mhm.
seconds, whatever. So you got to take that and really like look with your eyes. And somebody like that would, I don't know if you have kids or not, but somebody with those predator vibes, like, would you even want them around your kids?
Mm-mm.
Because if they're that hypersexual, like on some like on the fly, like you just for everybody. Like me personally, that's a big no. You gotta go.
Yeah. Not only that,
Let that dude around my friends because it look like if I go get up and get a glass of water, you already I'm coming back there trying to smash. No.
that's a good point too. That's a real good point.
Right? Like you just a little too much. So that's why I don't know. People, I just kind of stay to myself as much as I can, and then I socialize because I'm very outgoing anyways. But
Mm-hmm.
the things that I see sometimes are very like off. So right about now, it's definitely off.
Damn.
It's off.
Now, hold up. I want to ask another question I asked earlier was how do you or how have you managed? Because I feel like most of us, if not all of us, have been in a situation where um, we've we've been into somebody who wasn't necessarily feeling us the same way, or vice versa. Like somebody was feeling us and we weren't necessarily feeling them the same way. Like, how did you manage those situations if you've ever been in those? Assuming you've been in those.
Of course, I've been in that. I just feel like at the end of the day, it's just each scenario is different. But
Okay.
I'm probably more so the one that wouldn't have the feelings.
Okay.
I'll still kind of like socialize because then I'll see like what could become. What could become.
Somebody else want to be on camera?
Yeah. So I would just kind of say I'll be more so the one like really I guess because I got so much of a like a guard up when it comes down to like really trying to like see if it's for real. So I'll be more so the person now kind of draw back when it comes down to like liking or expressing my feelings or really showing my feelings because I feel like the ones that I do, it'd be like a waste. So then I just be like, nah, I'm gonna just be a dude out here. Don't show no feelings, don't have no feelings. And then if it happens, it happens. If it don't, then it just don't. I don't
Now,
think
so
it's been effective, but
because I was gonna ask you that.
no, it's effective. But it has been safe.
Your feelings have been protected.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Because that was going to be my question was that how does that work when I guess when there's such a wall up, you know what I'm saying? Like because some people may not either know how to get through the wall. Some obviously might not be willing. Uh, but either way, there could be opportunities where maybe if the wall wasn't so high, maybe somebody could have got through possibly or
Yeah, I would say that it is possible. I
oh,
don't like rocket science, but it does take, consistency, which a lot of people don't have. It
very
does
true.
take, being genuine, being truthful, being real,
Hmm.
having patience. Because, like I said, homeboy with the, hey, let's slide. I mean, that's no patience at all. That's like zero patience. So it's a lot of things where, there's a lot of components to get me to that point where a lot of people ain't gonna do that.
True.
And then a
True.
lot of people see me as a party girl. Like I go out like a couple of times out the week. So I guess in their head, like who's really gonna sit down with a party girl when, whoever would sit at home and be a homebody. I'm not gonna be no homebody. So at the end
Yes.
of the day, a lot of times guys associate the party girl with what homeboy was talking about earlier, and that's not true. That's a whole myth. So
Yeah.
it's
That's a generalization.
it's different levels to certain things, and once a guy can get past that myth because he thinks that you're gonna be outside, then I could see like if they sit.
Okay. And like you said too, I guess if it's a fit, then that shouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like they should be able to either see through that or do the necessary things to try to see past that, like ask the right questions and really get to know you, you know.
I'm big on a lot of things. Like if your word is all you got, then make your word count. Like for example,
Mhm.
tonight I was supposed to have a dinner date at 9 o'clock. What time is
Mhm.
it? 9:46.
It's past 9.
So with you, I just got like 5 messages from that person. So 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be like a whole bunch of excuses probably, or oh, I just woke up. I'm so sorry. I know it's late.
Mhm.
Did you get you a babysitter? So for me, that's big. My babysitter was here ready to get these kids at like 8:30. It's
Mhm.
9:46. Right there, that's gonna make me not want to put my guard down because it's like, bruh, there's no prioritization when it comes down to me. It's like when I get you, I'm gonna get to you. No.
Mhm. That's starting off on the wrong foot for sure, but hopefully hopefully if that person is for real, they could, find a way to get back in there, like, what I'm saying, like recover.
Well, this is actually a person that I already saw on their way. Like I told you,
Hmm.
not going nowhere, so we're not going to continue to not go nowhere. And I'm good, love, enjoy. And then it was like, well, can I take you to a nice dinner so we can at least talk? Because, like, they was all in their feelings. Sure. Now it's 9:46. I guess not. So now you don't got your opportunity to go ahead and express your feelings. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's certain things where it's like, don't line it up just for it to be a fumble or a brick or air ball, because then it's not gonna work.
True. Damn. Well, missed opportunities, man.
I can smell the bullshit from a mile away. That's why a lot of people don't like to deal with me, because the typical girl like, oh, don't worry, we could go out on Friday. It's fine. No, me, I'm like, it's 9:46. What happened? Should
I
have been
feel
a bomb or something.
Damn, yo. Was is there anything you want to like maybe add on to what we were talking about? Like anything in particular you feel like you want to maybe get off your chest, or you feel like people out there need to know? Uh Aside from what you just said, I mean, you just gave a lot of game, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if maybe you got more that you
Um,
want.
Not too much, because I got to go see what these text messages was that I just got, so I could go ahead and go in on somebody's son. But
Okay.
I just feel like the old school love was just like the best, like the early 2000s, 90s, stuff like that. Because this new generation stuff, mm-mm, it's gonna be a no. Too many people too comfortable with being in situationships. Like one dude he told me he got a 3 month. He got this girl pregnant. She 3 months, but he don't know if it's his baby. But I'm like, how do you not know these things? How do you not know? They don't live together. They're not in a relationship. They're not really dealing with each other. So if she has a kid and it's his, they just gonna figure out parenthood. So it's just like a lot of different things that nowadays I'm just not with it. I'd rather just stay away and just catch a vibe whenever I catch it, because it's crazy.
Mhm. Well, all right.
And
Damn.
Leo season all day, every day, period.
What all day every day?
Leo season, somebody just wrote in there,
Oh,
Leo all day,
oh,
every day. And that's a big perk. Leo season, always.
when your birthday exactly? If
August,
you don't mind sharing.
August 8th.
August 8th. Okay. Cool, cool. I'm an Aries myself, but all
Oh,
right.
you're a fire sign, Jesus Lord. Ugh.
This is true.
Mm-mm.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's
Mm.
true. Yeah, I mean, I'll admit it. Yeah,
Something else. Ooh, child.
we just passionate. That's all. We real passionate. That's it.
Very.
I was talking about that earlier. How early on growing up, I sometimes mixed or I mixed up uh passion for love. You feel me? Like I couldn't tell the difference early on because I'm so
Right.
intense. When I have feelings, I have feelings. Like I'm 0 to 100. Like I'm not. There's no in between. So
Me neither. There is no in between. It's either gonna be yes, no, I don't see gray. There's no reason to be on no maybe. What it is.
yep. So
I
but
don't know.
that's something.
Maybe water sign for some reason. Whenever I watch any of your little videos and stuff like that, you always gave me like a calm, laid back water sign, but I was wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I am calm. I'm very calm. I'm very calm. I'm relaxed. You know what I'm saying? I'm down to earth, all that. But I am extremely passionate, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like if I'm like around my peoples, because I'm also kind of like an introvert, extrovert, like a mix. So when I'm around my peoples, oh, I'm all the way, you
Extra.
see the fire, you know what I'm saying, then. But when I'm like in normal situations or other situations, I'm usually like kind of like
Yeah, that's
scoping the scene out and kind of
yeah.
like,
I
you
gotta
know,
really what's going on, what's right, what's wrong, all this other stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
got
I
a little bit.
I gotta go because I gotta go check some messages, comb up some hair, and all kind of stuff. So good speaking with you.
You too. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you
All
so much. All right, later. So, oh, I missed some of these comments. I'm sorry, y'all. Dramatic 305 says some women come off like that. You got money? Let's fuck. Oh, she read that earlier. That's true. Dramatic 305 also says, yeah, it's truly generational. I really think it is though. Like it's something that I don't know. I don't know a lot of people around my age range who who move like that, but at the same time, I'm sure it's out there. I just don't know them. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. Leo season all day. That's what she was saying also. Young OG Key, what up, my guy? Um, yeah, so I'm glad that um Crochet Queen was able to come in and just kind of like talk to us for a little bit. Anybody else trying to get in and talk about this topic that we were on, which is having feelings for somebody who may not be feeling you, or vice versa, having somebody who has feelings for you and you don't really feel them, and how you manage that, like what your approach is, basically. What up? And anytime if you want to join, you let me know. You can get on here as well. You can join me, and I want to hear your point of view, Key. So it sounds like everything that needed to be said has been said. Um, Thanks for joining me, y'all. I don't usually do the IG thing, but I'll probably do it again. Like, yeah, I'll probably do it again at some point. It's very easy to manage, and if there's a way for me to record it, or not record it, but actually download this episode and put it onto my YouTube, then don't be surprised if I come back on IG, and we'll have more times like these together. Young OG Key said, if I wasn't working, I definitely would have jumped on with you. I appreciate you, man. I believe you. I know you would. But yeah, that's all we got for tonight. I appreciate everybody who came on and came off, or came on and stayed through the whole time. Like, thank you very much. And I'll see you all next week, where we'll be talking more about sex, dating, situationships, relationships, and everything in between. And I am, once again, your host, The Sex Mechanic, aka Gene Benoit, aka Mr. Born to Explore, aka Confident Creator, aka The Exception. And I'll see you all next week. Peace.